something different. An opal shell pieces sandwich. What will we do with it? It has a good use of. It has a use. This opal can make some beautiful, stunning color gems. Being shells too, it's pretty unique. And they dark and crystal with some nice colors. What will we do with them? What will they face? Will make a jewelry stone or not? Well, you'll find out in this video. Let's go have fun with those. All right, that's the first one. And you can see they are quite gray and dark, and that's what's so unique about them. Look, they're not very expensive opal. I bought a bag of it, and I've done some few months ago as well, and I made some doublets and got some beautiful inlays out of it. They're a little bit thicker, and there is not. Look, I have no risk here. I did not pay much for those shells, shell pieces, I should say. And you can see, I'm just gonna go around, try to expose those colors. Look, if we get anything out of it, just one stone, be great, because you can see they're not big, as you've seen, and you know, but they can make sometimes beautiful colors, and that's what I like about it. And a lot of the shells, they face better underneath the color, underneath, not just under the skin. And this one, of course, look at those colors, so beautiful on the dark porch, but that sand in the middle is really gonna make this one worthless, I think. So let's just take the top off, and all the color down the bottom was looking good, and I think this is just gonna get now too thin. So let's have a quick look. Come on, keep going. And they are small, and I'm using 180 wheel, which I wouldn't advise for inexperienced cutter, maybe, because you can lose color so fast on this wheel. I would go on a 600 and play around with it. And you can see the color saturation is not quite there from the top, and the sand down the bottom is taking away that bar that's there of the shell piece that could have been pretty nice. Could have, should have, would have. Yeah, you can see, oh, look at, there's color everywhere, but also sand and potch. And the top is not looking that good. So I'm just gonna finish this off and grab the rest. You can tell there's not much gonna happen here. See, bit of colors, bit of reds, bit of sun flash. The bottom is much brighter, but the sand in the middle is taking a lot of this chunk, and it's becoming very, very thin. So I don't think we're gonna have much here. Just a little chip somewhere. But you can see how the top doesn't face as well as the bottom. So that's something to consider about the shells. I know a lot of you watching here to learn. I watch to learn from everybody all the time. Non-stop learn. Never stop. So I hope that some of those tips are useful to you. And when you go cutting, you can maybe avoid some of the mistakes now. Oh, see those lines? See there? So this one, I just wanted to show you. This is there is a line of beautiful bright color under that skin, and also down the bottom. And sometimes you think, okay, well, that doesn't have a color bar, everywhere. It's just gonna clearly be just a line of color in the middle. Guess what? If you're making inexpensive jewelry, and this is a shell, you can basically expose that line, shape it in a nice shape, and still put it somewhere. Those shells don't cost you much. I mean, the cost of a shell like this might be a few dollars. So you can actually make some profit. See that line? And because if you put it in a nice setting, you know, silver, or even in maybe some raisin, you can yeah, you can really make some cool stuff with it. So I always advocate you don't need to stick to the cabochons, ovals, rounds, and cushion cuts. There is so much more potential in free forms. It's just depending if you're making the jewelry and if you're putting in yourself in it. There is just possibilities everywhere with Opal. So, alright, I'll speed this up. Alright, see? So this is what we've got. See that beautiful line? That is really, and the top as well, you can really use that for something. I'm sure you all creative. So I just wanted to show you that that has some kind of a value already, even though it's the color, it's just the brightness of that line. Now this one is probably nothing. It's pretty dark, what I like, and there was on one side there was that red in there. So I'm just gonna go around and see if I can get some kind of a shape with the color bar all around. See that red and blue, beautiful in there, but it's very subdued and I'm not sure if it's gonna get anywhere. So I'll speed that up too. Yes, I kept going, and as you can see, the subdued color, nothing in there. There was no bar past that little cheap jar here. That's all we're gonna do. I'm just gonna see if it gets any brighter, that sun flash, but it doesn't really. That's another thing. See, it looked brighter from the side than the top. So that's no value there. But this one has beautiful bar. Look at that. And this, maybe something beautiful. Can you see if this was to work out? That beautiful crystal on the dark porch. And when I say porch, it really, that bar is crystallized, so it's color on color. You can see it there with just dark tone to that crystal, which is absolutely my favorite. But I want to think about how I'm gonna do it. So let's leave the good one for later. I'm just gonna do the obvious ones because I want to think which side the other one to cut from. Now this one is straightforward. I'm just gonna go with the shell curve and see. Look, it has very little hope here. It's got this milk, but I'm hoping that if I go around with the curve of the shell, that sort of milky porch and the lines will clean up a little bit, because the side of that bar looks crystal beautiful gold and it's got green and blue on top. So maybe I can just shape it. It's not very bright. Gotta get rid of that tip. There's no color there. And yeah, 180 is not great for these little pieces. Well, for this one anyway. I really need to be careful. In saying that, I think this is as good as it's gonna get. See, there's nothing much in it. Another cheap jar. Alright, that's it. Go to the next one. That's underneath. But look at those, you know, like there's nice flashy colors there. But let's just go to the next one, because still gonna just clean up that milky bit on that shell piece. And can you see how bright it is on the side? How you can see the bar. So when you're buying Opal, you see a bar like this, and some of the sellers know very well this is not gonna face well. And unfortunately, some are after a quick buck and will show you that bar all around. And without experience, you think, wow, that bar is good. It's gonna look really nice. And then you face it, it doesn't, as you saw it. All right, next one. Next one has got, again, that beautiful green blue dark crystal, but you can see the sand, can't you? Sand everywhere throughout. I did put a torch through it, and it's not the cleanest. So even though it looks so bright, again, for vials, for cheaps, those colors, I love those colors because I can just put that in a nice little vial or something else with other little pieces, like some Opal little ads or pendants that are using chips. I've seen some beautiful things being done, or even like watch faces and things like that. So I'm just gonna clean up and see if there is any way we can get the sand out of it. And let me know if you are enjoying this low budget Opal videos. I personally, I did this one because not many people will cut dark shell pieces. So even though it's cheap, because it's got all sorts of problems, and I'll tell you at the end what it's valued at. So those pieces, but not much I paid for it. So yeah, let me know. I just think, well, I'm not sure if I've seen anybody cutting, dark shell pieces online, so why not? Something different. Opal is so unique and diverse. Sometimes we cut stones that are thousands, sometimes we cut stones that worth, $100, $50, maybe less. Sometimes you can cut some beats that you think are gonna be thrown away and maybe get something out of it. So our channel is for everybody. That's the idea. Build community on all sorts of things. See, beautiful colors. Again, the bar, but look at the sand in there. It's eaten it away. We don't have much here to work with. So I think we're gonna have to go towards, well, we can expose this bottom there and see what happens. All right, let's speed it up and see what we end up here. All right, full of sand, nothing, very thin, sand's eating it away, valueless, and I've got a little bit of blood. I touched the wheel next to it with my finger, unfortunately, so I hope you guys are right with that. I'm gonna try to hide it for those who might not like it, but this is the piece that it's looking like a nice inlay. That's what it looks like, because it is thin. And why I say that is because that bar is kind of angled in that thin piece. It's very thick here, beautiful, but it goes kind of on an angle, and I just want to clean up that dark porch and see if if we can get both sides faces without the sand. And there might be a spectacular, beautiful, bright inlay shell piece. See how this got porch on top there, and from underneath it has good color just about everywhere. So from like I said before, underneath the shells. Sorry, I dropped that, and you had to see the blood again. All right, let's clean up that bottom of the shell, and look at that. Did you see that? Oh, that is very bright. Look at that. Much better underneath. So if I can clean the top and that, I think I might have a nice inlay piece shaping towards that, like an arrowhead. You wouldn't do an arrowhead, it's too thin, you break it. But I like the brightness of that. And you know what? That is some of my favorite opals. Just that dark crystal with the greens and blues. And you know what? For sale, it sells better greens and blues for me than any other color. Yeah, so I'll show you in a minute the end products, what the shells wear. Just wanna, I've got some left here, and they were about $30. So let's have a look what we ended up with. I know it's not much value. Let me know in the comments if you spent $30, got that, had practice, and got a little bit of color, cheap inlay, whatever this is. Would you be happy? I am getting a lot of feedback regarding buying Opal online and how hard it is to buy, and a lot of you replied enjoying the tips where to find how to buy, and I'm hoping that through my videos I am giving you enough tips about the color bars, about how different things face from my experience. So when you go there, because a lot of you are obviously, most of you that watch my channel, well, majority is actually outside of Australia, and it's very hard when you go online and sales are just showing you one bar and or bit of color, and then when you get it, you can't, yeah, you are disappointed, or you can't get the opal you thought you would get out of it. Now, I understand that us as sellers may not be able to predict what's in the rough opal totally, but I think more than half the time, the people selling online know exactly what it's going to happen with the opal. There are those who have no idea and just sell it themselves because they see a bit of color and asking silly prices. But there are those who know. They sell it because they go, nothing much comes out of that opal. Sometimes they're wrong, and that's a gamble. But most of the time they are aware. So it's up to us as buyers to go and say, okay, I want to see as much of the opal as I can, slow, closing, and I want to have a feedback from the seller. What do you think it's going to happen with that opal? And you can ask at auctions, you can ask whoever is selling it, going, oh, what do you think that's going to face like? Or what is your opinion? They can't guarantee, of course, if it's a rough opal, it's gamble. But they might have an opinion. Oh, this is an inlay. This is gonna make the face maybe not as bright as the bar. If the honest sellers are there, they will tell you it's priced lower because we think it's not gonna face as well, or there is this sand issue, or there is a crack, or anything like that. So anyway, I thought through my videos, I'm trying my best to give you my experience and to help you buy well, because that seems to be the difficulty for people, just buying a reasonable opal, even for a hobby, not to make money, but just not to lose money. Yeah, so let's have a look what we ended up with. And please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. Of course, only if you like it. And if you think there is value here for you, so you can get notified when my next video comes out. And yeah, thank you. Okay, the shells. 2 pieces that had nothing in it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a color. They're just not gems or anything worth any money. You can, I'm going to use them in my chip jars, and I'm going to make some more vials, which sell really well. So they all have a use if they have a color. And these ones are quite bright. So anyway, then you've got 2 more pieces here. Again, cheap jars because of the sand. This had nice blue and green, but that sand never clean up. So it will become it will look good in a jar. This one,
it has this, I love that flash, see? There. And this is the other side. So you could put something black underneath and make something out of it, but that color is just there. It's not the whole piece. It's got this cloud in there. It will flash on a different light, but it's not great. No value, really. And look, the back can look so good sometimes. Well, not anymore here now that it's cleaned up. Anyway, this was just a bit of fun and nothing of value. Now, this shells cost me $30, so you can see what I'm getting. And this is the line that was there, and it's showing a bit of color, and probably face it in that side. And it doesn't run all the way there, but you know, you could make some pendant in there if you shape that. I don't think it's much value either. It's a nice color, but it's obviously not much of it. So, and then you've got this piece that probably paid for the $30. That's an inlay that cleaned up. There's still a bit of sand on this side and more sand here, but you know, and I'm glad it's the underneath that's facing better, because that porch is going all the way to there. So it's good that I went from this side and that be the facing side. That sand, you can see it's not going all the way through. So that will clean up. And if you pay, you know, I'll just see something black behind it. And you get that. I love that blue crystal green. But that's it. That's a carat of really an inlay that's going to go into something. And that's a nice color. I love that crystal. So it will clean up and be useful. And for the $30 to pay for the lot, this was fun. I hope you guys learned something. There's nothing much more to say about it. Let me know in the comments, do you find this video useful, even though we're not cutting opals that's worth thousands? It's just something different with the dark shells. They didn't work out too well. They didn't cost me much money either, though, so that's the good news. Wow, look at that nice pattern. Yeah, all right. See you on the next one, guys.